So you've watched Hamilton this week, haven't you?
I did. I've watched Hamilton. So it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And it is a recording of a Broadway show from 2016.
Yeah, of the hit Lin-Manuel Miranda penned show, which for all these years hasn't had any kind of official recording, but now we have, even though it was recorded in 2016, but they only released it now, and even that was like a year early or something.
Yeah.
It's not quite sure what they've been holding on for.
I think he was Lin-Manuel Miranda, because he owns all the rights to it. You know, he owns absolutely everything to do with it. He was in talks with Disney for ages to get a film made. And I think, you know, during lockdown, they nailed this down and released this.
Yeah.
And I think there's talks about them making an actual film of it instead of just the play recording.
Yeah, well, because they are making In the Heights as a film, which is his previous work. I don't know which studio that's with. Presumably it must be Disney. I'll give it a quick look. But it would make sense to maybe try and do Hamilton. But I mean, that would probably be quite a large budget production, I feel.
Yeah.
Which I suppose Disney probably doesn't mind.
Yeah, Disney's got the cash, haven't they?
Yeah. Plus, to be fair, Hamilton has definitely got the fan base that it would be like a worthwhile investment.
Yeah, it absolutely would be. Like, it's got the fans, like, no problem. It's got the star power, but also almost everyone in the musical is a, you know, movie actor already.
Yeah.
So, or, you know, at least a TV actor. You know, they definitely have screen experience.
Yeah. So the thing that's on Disney Plus is it's a recording of the stage show.
Yeah. So it's very good, right? Hamilton is good. Like, no, there's no doubt about it. It's very, very well written. The acting is amazing. The songs are very good. You know, it is good, and it's from a very interesting part of history, obviously. And being British, I had absolutely fucking no idea who any of the people were other than George Washington.
See, but I learned who all these people are through Hamilton. You just got to keep listening.
Yeah, exactly. I now know who they are because of Hamilton, which is, I suppose, a good thing. So the first thing was, I didn't like it as much as I thought I would.
No, which might just be hype.
It definitely was.
I've been telling you to listen to it in some form for the past, like, 3-4 years.
Yeah. So everyone's, told me to listen to it. All my friends that have seen it have been like, oh my God, it's amazing. You'll love it. Go and see it. Obviously, I can't go and see it. And getting hold of tickets for it was, impossible for ages, wasn't it?
Mm. It was it was better here than it was certainly in America, but it was still not particularly easy, no.
But so when I watched it, and then, again, this might be something to do with how they record it, which we'll get onto in a minute, and it's just been overhyped massively. And everyone else, including you, seems to be, absolutely frothing at the mouth for the fucking songs and everything. And I'm like, the songs are okay, but they're not that good, They're not like, I haven't pissed myself in pure orgasmic bliss just by listening to these songs. I think they're pretty good, but not amazing.
But then this is getting onto the sort of central nugget of this, because you haven't listened to the official Broadway recording.
No.
Which you've just seen the film, and so the film is like recorded live as on stage. But so the problem with all of this is that the way sound is mixed for stage, for a theatre, for that room, is a lot different to how it's mixed for film. And I think a lot of that impact is then lost.
Yeah.
Unless, I haven't actually seen the Hamilton tape yet, because I haven't got around to it, and I haven't got a source yet. But I assume it's not overdubbed with the official recording. It's the recording of the stage, as it were.
Yeah, I think it's
the
live recording. Yeah.
And I think there's a problem with sort of tapings of sort of live events, is that even if you attempt to sort of mix the sound properly, it just won't be a studio recording. It's like if you ever listen to a live album of any band, it's never going
to be as good as the studio one. Yeah.
Yeah, or even being there in person, because the way it's mixed for that organic environment as opposed to a clean audio track.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more had I seen it live. Because also I think, again, like I would have enjoyed it a lot more if I was American. But also because, Americans are taught Revolution history, since they're in, fucking reception, whatever the equivalent is. So there was loads of jokes, like obviously revolution-based jokes that just flew straight over my head, and they've got the audience laughing at these jokes. I'm just like, what?
Like what?
I don't know. I can't remember them.
Well, that's not helpful.
Yeah, but then there's just these fucking jokes like, "Oh, he did this thing, ha ha ha," and the audience fucking laugh, and I'm like, who? What? But obviously, that's not their fault. That's my fault for not knowing the history. But I think it's a very, and this isn't a slight against it because it makes sense, but it's a very, very American orientated viewer experience, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I've had no problem with and I had no knowledge of sort of American history stuff before, and I sort of got into it fine.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's any prerequisites of having to.
I think there is. Because there is definitely having a knowledge base of that era of the people would have helped,
I don't think it's that necessary. I mean, because for one thing, even though obviously it's about the Revolutionary War, it's about Hamilton and Burr and their relationship, and sort of, it's more biographical than historical as such, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters if you don't know where the places they're talking. I don't know where Chesapeake Bay is. Who knows where that is? I don't know where Yorktown is. I don't know the battles.
Yeah, but not that as much as, the people specifically and knowing what those people did, because obviously a lot of the characters are caricatures of their real people, like Thomas Jefferson obviously wasn't like that. The same with all of these people, like Lafayette probably wasn't like that. All of these people weren't actually like that, and I think having a knowledge of what they actually were like would have made that, enhance that experience more. But that's by the by. Let's get on to the actual fucking point we're trying to make here.
Okay, I mean, I still disagree with your point, but okay, we'll go to the main point.
So they do a lot of. We were talking about this. We reckon they did 2 recordings, one with an audience and one without, because they've got a lot of shots in there that just wouldn't be possible with an audience there. So they do these close-ups, and they do there's obviously a cameraman on the stage following them round and walking with them.
Yeah.
That they couldn't have that with an audience there. And they obviously spliced them together very, very well to the point where you can barely tell. However, so the whole point of theatre experience is that the whole stage is important, isn't it? Because you only have this one area to move around and to set it, and that's what separates theatre from film, is that you can't edit a theatre performance.
Yeah.
You can't cut to camera B.
There's only one shot in theatre, and it's a locked off wide shot.
Yeah, exactly.
And also it's not just the way a thing is blocked or directed, but also the set design as well, and the lighting. Yeah. And in the same way in the film, every micro element is fine-tuned for the methods of filmmaking. In the same way, every micro element of theatre is fine-tuned for that live setting. Which the problem with taping is it then changes that medium without changing the micro elements enough to really match it.
And I think you lose things because they've got this amazing set and these amazing dancers, and they've got all this amazing choreography, and you don't get to fucking see them half the time because it's just on a close-up of Hamilton. And you're like...
Yeah. And especially when a lot of that kind of show is... Obviously, there are, main characters that do stuff, but there's a lot of ensemble background stuff. There's a lot of, synchronized dancing, which doesn't work when you cut in on close-up. You need to see it all in one go to get the full sort of...
Also, it's so flowing, and it's so... the point of it's so rhythmic, isn't it? And it's so they are performing as one, not as individuals. To then cut to an individual sort of ruins that effect. And I think they sort of lose some of the spectacle and some of the magic of it being a theatrical performance that there would be there in a theatre. Which is part of why Cats the film flopped as so intensely as it did. Because of what made Cats the musical good is the spectacle, is the costumes, the people, the dancing, and seeing that live. And I think this Hamilton thing has a similar flaw, that it loses that magic because you're not seeing it the way it was intended to be seen, you know?
That is a brave comparison of Hamilton to Cats. Oh,
Well,
we're gonna get correspondence this week, that's for sure.
Well, you know, it stands. Fight me.
But I mean, Cats isn't like a taping the same way, though. So do you think when Hamilton gets adapted to like a proper film, how do you think that will go? Do you think it will work as a film?
I think it will go. I think it will. You know, like, well, I mean, I haven't seen it, but how have you seen Les Mis in theatre?
No, I haven't. I have seen the film, but not. I've only seen like brief clips of the theatre show.
Because I imagine it will be a similar thing. You know, they've got to have all the songs in it. They've got to have these things that, you know, in the theatre they can't obviously have all of the explosions from the cannons and the war and, you know, all the corpses, and they can't have the scale that a film can have. And they can't have the, you know, spoilers, when he gets fucking shot on stage, it just sort of, you know, he gets shot and he freezes and some ensemble people go up and grab him and then move him. It's like, on film, they'll just have him on the floor bleeding out, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot more of sort of, obviously theatre's a lot less realism in it. There's a lot more stylization and sort of like physical theatre and stuff going on.
Yeah.
Which would have, and I think that would change certainly the sort of the tone and the atmosphere of it at points. Because you're right, like there's a sort of something quite mystical about the end of it there. But if you did that in a film, he would just sort of, you know, he'd just die and fall over. And it wouldn't have the same impact.
Yeah, exactly. I think they would lose a lot of impact. Because again, like, you know, before they have the countdown, like the fucking finale is that you know, that countdown.
Attend your commandments.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they have the bit like right before when Burr pulls the trigger, it's like, oh, there's a freeze frame and it's just him and he's singing, all the music stops. And it's like, oh, this is really powerful, you know?
Yeah.
And like, that would be so hard to pull off in film. I don't know. I think it's possible to do it because obviously there have been film adaptations of stage musicals that have done incredibly well. Yeah. You know, I just think they need to focus on the characters and not try to have the scale.
Yeah. See, the thing that I was thinking about was like, because, you know, a lot of the sort of the music in it is sort of essentially the characters not quite narrating what happens as such, but like sort of telling the story orally as opposed to like, you know, there's a lot of sort of telling.
It's tell, don't show. Yeah,
which works in theatre because, again, it's a very minimalist stage and they have to explain, like, you know, we're at war and we're doing all this and this is what's going on. But in film, so without, like, changing the songs and the lyrics, like, would they just have, like a close-up of Hamilton as he walks through these battlefields explaining this battle that we can't see? Like, I feel like... I think they can do a film version. But I think it's going to be very interesting integrating the songs as they are, which again have been made for this very specific medium and are like, you know, take full advantage of its strengths and weaknesses. To make into a film and have it work, you'd have to change so much of that, I feel.
I think, and I think Lin-Manuel Miranda. Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't think that's beyond his capability.
No, not at all. I think
he's obviously incredibly talented. I think if they just gave him full creative control, I think he could probably do it. And I tell you what they should not do is give it to Tom Hooper.
Oh, I hope Tom Hooper's career has been ruined in the nicest possible way. But like, because I mean, so King's Speech was fine, sure, whatever. But Les Miserables was
really enjoying that film.
Yeah, but Les Miserables is just is inherently not a well-directed film. Like, it just isn't on so many levels. And if anyone had any doubts, Cats has surely sealed that. I can't see, after those two, anyone could possibly being like, who should we get to direct this film version of this really popular stage musical? You know what? Tom Hooper, he's had a great track record. Let's get him back. What could go wrong? You should genuinely listen to the proper album.
Okay. I did quite like, some of the music was really good.
But I think
it wasn't, you know, making me thruffle at the mouth like everyone else seems.
No, but like as I was saying, I think you need to listen to it like properly mixed in a studio to get the full effect of it first.
I would like to see the actual play.
It is great.
Musical. Do you want them to make a proper film? order.
I mean, there's no reason not to, because, you know, even if the film's terrible, the album and the musical still exist.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, I'd like to see how they do it. And I think it, you know, there's in the same way Les Mis had these, like, you know, these great set pieces that you couldn't do on stage expanded upon.
I'll tell you what, we didn't mention earlier that I would like to say, like,
Okay.
the King George III, he was an absolute standout part for me. Like, he's so fucking funny.
He is great.
Also, you know, like Lin-Manuel I just can't say his fucking name.
Lin-Manuel
Miranda.
It's not difficult.
Yes, it is. Oh right, yeah. He's always saying, like, he was so worried about offending British people by making King George like a fucking knobhead. It's like, well, he was a fucking knobhead. So
also, like, all of British humour is about taking the piss out of ourselves. Like, we love it. It gets such an amazing reaction in London.
Also, he was alive like fucking 400 years ago. Like, or 300 years ago. Like, why would we give a shit?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the difference between, like, because American patriotism is like this sort of, like, almost personal connection to history, which you don't actually have any personal connection to. Like, I mean, just the way they get so defensive over the flag, for one thing. Well, we just don't have that. We just don't really give a shit.
If you slag off someone, you know, from 300 years ago, it's like, what's that gonna do? Like,
yeah.
I don't care. Also, he was known here as the Mad King.
Exactly. We didn't like him either.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, you know, whatever.
Do you have a favourite song from Hamilton? Did any sort of stick out to you?
What stuck out to me? I liked What Did I Miss?
That's decent.
I liked the King's song where he's like, you know, I'm gonna kill all your families or whatever.
You'll Be Back. That is one of the top ones. Yeah.
And I liked the shot one.
My Shot.
Yeah, My Shot. What's your favourite?
So I'd say, I think the two that I keep coming back to the most are like Yorktown.
I don't remember that one.
So that, you know.
Oh right, yeah.
That one. But that's basically like the I mean, there's non-stop, but that's like the climax of Act 1 to an extent.
I think the first half was a lot better than the second half.
Yeah, I think there is certainly a school of thought for that. I mean, so yeah, obviously the first one is like, you know, more about, you know, the battles and stuff, and then the second one is more political and personal.
Yeah, I did like the how their political debates were fucking
rap battles.
Rap battles, yeah, I liked that.
Oh, the other song I really love, I probably one of the standout moments from Act 2 is "The Room Where It Happens."
Oh yes, I really like that one actually.
That's basically a villain song, and I think it's so well done. I love it.
I also liked Washington on Your Side.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like the first half was like they have, I say revolutionary as more like, you know, that it was so unique because it you know, having rap as in a musical, especially a musical set 300 years ago, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas the second half felt more traditionally musical. You know, it still has the rap and the fast talking bits, but it's still a lot like the songs in it, like What Did I Miss, like Washington on Your Side, like The Room Where It Happened, are a lot more traditionally musical songs, you know.
And same with like Burn and Hurricane, which are both quite sort of like, yeah. I think that's definitely
probably why I liked the first half so much more. It's like in the first half, I could see why everyone was so obsessed with it, because it was like this. I've never seen anything else like this before. It's really good. It's a lot more interesting than the political side of things.
The second half's so sad as well.
Yeah, it did make me cry. But then everything makes me cry, so, you know.
Yeah. I think I must have cried at some point at it. Oh, Blow Us All Away is also really good. Like a really good song. It's sad, but it's such a good song.
So many of it's good. Oh, there was a lot of good songs.
I think you should listen to the album, because I think you will enjoy that more.
Yeah.